As we get closer to next year's election, Trump's massive lead in polling deals a blow to rivals' electability case. What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American, back again with a new video. Today, it is time that we talk about the 2024 presidential election, because everyone, once again, we have brand new polling from not just one or two pollsters, but several that continue to indicate a similar trend we have talked about for many months now. The electability argument that other Republicans claim to have over Donald Trump continues to get debunked, as polling from CNN, CBS, New York Times, Emerson, etc. show the same thing. Trump is beating Biden in most of the polling as of now. So much for that argument that, secretly there is magical data out there that shows Trump is unelectable compared to Tim Scott. But first, before we continue with today's video, I hope you enjoy these type of videos. If you do, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Guys, just for $1 a month, you can join Real American. This is the best way to support the daily content that we all know and love. So I hope and recommend you join the channel today. Alright, everybody. Now let me be clear. I am not saying Trump is 100% going to win the popular vote by 15 points. I'm not saying that. But this crap being pushed by the DeSimps on Twitter, Nikki Haley people, Tim Scott people, etc. are bullcrap. They're complete and total crap with these arguments. I mean, it's just a logical perspective. This electability argument doesn't make any sense for the fact that Trump won 2 cycles ago. He won back in 2016, and he came very close to winning in 2020, which was arguably the worst environment an incumbent president has had in the last 50 years. So, first of all, logically, it just doesn't make much sense. But even the polling is indicating that, wait a minute, Trump has a serious possibility of winning next year. Not just, a 1% chance. There is an argument that could be made that Trump could have a 50% chance of winning. Just based on the current polling, as of now. Again, people are going to say, you have to project what's going to happen in 12 months. You can't really do that. This is a very ahistorical cycle already. Many independents, a former president running again, the incumbent president being unpopular. It's a mess. But we'll just get into it. For many of Trump's primary rivals, the case against nominating the former president was straightforward. He could not defeat President Biden in a general election, when more moderate and independent voters are needed to prevail in the key battleground states. But recent polling has dealt a blow to that argument. Like I've been saying, this electability argument doesn't make much sense. Trump already won in 2016, so he's already won an election. And number two, he's a former president. This is ahistorical. You can't just say, Trump has so many scandals, that makes him unelectable. Trump is not your traditional politician. He's not the one that, eats a sandwich and his entire career goes down the tubes like several other politicians. It's stupid but true that there's been several politicians that their careers get down for dumb reasons. But Trump, for crying out loud, he survived Access Hollywood tape. He survived all that crap. You're telling me he survived all of that politically, but now is the time. Again, I'm not denying that if he gets convicted, that could be bad. But right now, The argument makes absolutely zero sense. Polls from the New York Times, CNN, CBS News, and Emerson College have shown Trump leading in a hypothetical 2024 matchup, both in key swing states and at the national level. The electability argument has gone for others, said one former Trump White House official. You know, this entire argument never made sense. It just never did. You can hit Trump on a lot of things, but electability? When we have several years worth of elections where, wait a minute, Republicans overperformed where Trump was involved or on the ballot. 2022, he was neither, and they underperformed bad. Hell, back in 2018, yes, they lost the House, but people forget, Republicans gained quite a bit in the Senate. It was like 3 Senate seats, I think it was, because of Trump. Trump barnstormed the country for Josh Hawley, for Rick Scott. I mean, when Trump is heavily involved, in the past 5, if more like 10 years now, it's been that long already, it's crazy, but either way, when Trump's been heavily involved or on the ballot, Republicans overperformed. Look at 2020. Republicans will lose 15 House seats. They gained 13. In that environment. Former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley, in particular, has framed much of her campaign around electability. Since launching her run in February, she has called for a new generation of leadership, argued Trump can't win in the general election, and repeatedly pointed to polls that show her beating Biden in a hypothetical 2024 matchup. Here's the problem. And even Rich Bears brought this up. Go back to 2012 and look at the polling with Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney is the electable candidate. He's doing far better against Obama than any other candidate. How did that go? Not so good, because guess what? Nikki Haley still doesn't have the same name recognition as Trump, let alone somebody like DeSantis. She still is, relatively speaking, unknown. And many people don't know who she is. And that's what these idiots on Twitter don't understand. She doesn't have the name ID yet. Yes, she's overperforming Trump, but it's like, if nobody knows who the hell you are, they just think, oh, this must be a generic Republican. Must be a great Republican that agrees with me on all the issues. When they realize who Nikki Haley is, they're going to think, oh, she wants World War III with Iran and Russia. You know what? Never mind. She wants free trade with China. You know what? Let's forget what I said about that. That's the problem with this theory that Nikki Haley's doing so much better. Yeah, because people don't know who she is. You just look at her polling and yeah, she does like margin-wise better than Trump, but she gets a less share of the vote than Trump in most circumstances. That just tells you that people don't know who the hell she is. It's not just about the primary. Everybody's talking about the primary now. It's who could beat Joe Biden and who could beat any Democrat that goes there. Haley said Thursday on Fox Business Network. You can tell from the momentum that we have, but more than that. Look at the polls. We crushed Joe Biden in general because you're not known. Look at what happened to DeSantis early this year. When he was, he had decent name recognition, but still quite a bit of Americans didn't really know who he was, what he stood for. He was leading Joe Biden by several points. Despite doing percentage point worse than Trump or several, he was leading Biden margin-wise. But when voters realized who DeSantis was, they were like, never mind. Never mind about him. Not good. And the same thing's going to happen to Nikki Haley. It happened to Mitt Romney in 2012. Hell, John McCain back in 2008. It's the same thing over and over again. People just don't know who these people are, and they think, oh, must be a great Republican. I'm just going to support him or her. But they realize who she is. Not good. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has increasingly shaped his argument for the nomination on the concept that he has delivered victories and results in Florida, while other Trump and his preferred candidates have struggled at the ballot box. You maroon. Who is the one that caused the trend in Florida? Not only Donald Trump, but your predecessor, Rick Scott. Those two are the ones that shaped Florida into a gold mine for Republicans. Yes, you've done a great job. Let me be clear. He's done a great job as governor, DeSantis. But this was Rick Scott and Donald Trump's doing. It factually was. Look at the voter registration trends before you. It was swinging Republican. Again, DeSantis did a great job and he did solidify the state. But he's not the one that turned it into a Republican state. Rick Scott did that, or started it at least. All DeSantis had to do at that point was not screw up, and he did a good job. Trump said Republicans were going to get tired of winning. Well, as we saw last night, I'm sick of Republicans losing. DeSantis said at Wednesday night's debate. Oh, just forget to mention that turnout among Republicans, or I should say Trump voters, was down 50%. Well, Biden voters were 80% in Kentucky. Ohio is a Biden +3 electorate when Trump won the state by 8. It's a turnout problem. Trump's the only Republican getting these people out to vote. A slew of recent polls have undercut the idea that Trump is incapable of taking on Biden, even after losing him in 2020. The fact people thought this was a legitimate argument, it's always baffled me. He barely lost in 2020 and he won in 2016. Why is it some impossibility that Trump can win? A New York Times poll released November 5th found Trump leading Biden in 5 of the 6 critical battleground states that will likely determine the outcome of the 2024 race. A CBS national poll released Sunday found Trump leading Biden in a hypothetical matchup 51 to 48%. National. A CNN poll released Tuesday found Trump ahead of Biden 49 to 45 in a hypothetical rematch. Ignore the margin for a second. Look at the percent Trump is at. 51%, 49. Remember, Trump got, 47% in 2020? So even if the margin isn't correct, Trump is expanding his base. He's getting a larger share of the electorate than he did back in 2020. Emerson found Trump leading Arizona, Georgia, Nevada, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, with Biden leading Michigan. The two were separated by just 1 point in the state of Wisconsin. Donald Trump is the best polling position he's ever been in his political career. It's kind of not close. Justin Clark, who served as Trump's deputy campaign manager in 2020, said this week on the Yes Labels podcast. I'm just still bamboozled. Excuse me, I hit my mic. That people, they're just denying this. Trump has never led. If he did lead, it was by 1 point. He's never led the national popular vote by this much, let alone in the swing states by 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 points. And ignoring margins again, he's getting a larger share of the vote than he's ever gotten. This electability argument was always nonsense. It was being pushed by people that said the same thing about Mitt Romney, John McCain. They're now saying about Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis, more so Nikki Haley. It reminds me of the John Kasich polls back in 2016. He's going to win the popular vote by 15. When John Kasich was running, nobody knew who the hell he was. And if he ever got the nomination, I don't think he would have won. I said it. I mean, just because he's pulling so high now, before the primary, when nobody knows who the hell he is, that doesn't mean that's going to translate to winning the general. The difference with Trump and Haley, everybody knows Trump, and he's leading the popular vote by quite a bit. Nikki Haley, a lot of people don't know who she is. and that's inflating her margins. But who knows? We just got to see what happens in the next year. See if Trump can continue this massive lead in polling. I don't think he will. But it destroys a lot of this electability garbage that people have been pushing for years. Anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Thank you so much. Godspeed to all of you.